One of the most moving short stories I have ever read was written by Lucy Maud Montgomery, a Canadian author and poet. For many years I have always wanted to write a poem portraying the essence of her story, but with Australian characters and set in an Australian setting. I hope you enjoy A Failure That's the Best Success. The old Myer homestead Bancroft, built by early pioneers, had not entertained a gathering for nigh on 20 years. No, not since the sad occasion when poor Mrs. Myer died, but the long weekend in April had for months been set aside. It was grand to hear the children laugh, in so many ways, as the joy was reminiscent of their early childhood days. They had grown up on the property beside your amber hole, where they fished for yellow belly with a weeping willow pole. It was Jack, the second eldest son, and Bancroft's owner now, that had battled years of floods and drought and still survived somehow, who had acted on young Kate's request and gathered all the clan to the Plainlands cattle station, where for them life had began. Dan, who lived in Sydney, an accountant in a partnership, for the first time brought his two young sons and wife upon the trip. Dell, now Mrs. Fleet, had married the member for Brenda Lee and was always busy working for her favourite charity. Ben, who owned a stock and station agency up Queensland way, made the southbound journey with his wife and daughter Maggie May. For young Kate, who'd never married but pursued a stage career, it was she who'd instigated the idea of gathering here. I must not forget poor Dick, although at times his family could. Eldest of the clan, he owned a shanty on Old Sandalwood. Meanwhile, all the children mixed and talked out on the homestead lawn. Dick, though, sat back quietly on the veranda, content to be withdrawn. Inside, Aunt Nell sang the children's praises to Felicity, Bancroft's nanny, who saw light of status in society. Still, Nell eulogised how each achieved success and could stand tall. That was all except poor Dick. He'd not achieved in life at all. While all the other children have all succeeded and prospered, dear, Dick has nothing but the barren block of land he owns, I fear. He has put the Myer name in repute and let us all down. Yes, a failure, and the only dull stone in the Myer crown. Sadly, Dick had overheard the harsh remarks of his Aunt Nell, and Felicity could sense his pain, the depth of hurt as well. Dick could stay no longer, as the sting which hurt most, sad to say, was perceiving how his brothers and his sisters thought that way. Dick's discreet departure was observed by Kate, who then inquired from Felicity as to whether she knew why Dick retired. Kate was informed of Nell's cruel remarks, which she thought quite absurd, and was sick of heart when she was told how Dick had overheard. She then wiped her teary eyes and sought the others' company, hoping they would help divert the threat of failing harmony. Still, the matter would not dampen the reunion, and Kate's hunch was the highlight of the gathering would be this Sunday's lunch. Dick, though more withdrawn than usual, and obviously scarred from his Aunt Nell's scathing comments, found the gathering extremely hard coping with and did not wish to be the brunt of smear campaigns. But despite Aunt Nell's portrayal, Myer blood ran through his veins. It was Dan who interrupted activities to speak first, and was proud to admit that they'd all left Bancroft with a thirst to achieve in life and realise wealth in sizable amounts, though could never match the one who prospered in what really counts. I recall how I worked for Mr. Smythe at the mortuary to procure the needed fees to enter university, but the wages went missing one day and I was apportioned the blame, and, though innocent, the stigma stayed for years and smeared my name. I was ready to quit my dream of being an accountant, but it was Dick, and only Dick, who believed me innocent. Though I'd saved a little, Dick then took it on himself to find the rest, and today my success is Dick's success. Thanks, mate. I feel blessed. Next to rise was Ben, who disclosed that his first purchase of stock would have been a shady one. He chose, though, in the end to block the transaction after telling Dick the deal and being told that the Maya Honour Code was worth far more than tainted gold. Not long afterwards, the other men involved done time away, and if not for Dick, I may never have opted out that day. Up till now I have not forgotten his words and treasure them still, and not one of my ventures has seen a tainted dollar bill. Dell, the eldest girl, then rose and voiced that when her mother died, she was only 5. And from then on, Dick took it in his stride to be both a mother and father to her, and all the good in her life. If anyone wished to lay claim to it, Dick could. It was Jack who spoke up next, and with an air of pride he praised Dick for saving his life when he had typhoid, and was amazed by the tender, gentle, loving and kind way he had nursed him back to health, despite the situation looking somewhat grim. Now in tears, Kate glanced at Aunt Nell as she told how her career nearly stumbled when she failed her scholarship exam, but dear Dick coerced her to accept the needed money for the fees, little knowing he had cashed in shares invested overseas. Then, Felicity surprised all of them by making known Dick had funded for the Shire a brand new fire truck and had shown a self-sacrificing spirit when he saved old Margaret Frome from last summer's savage fire which consumed the widow's home. Poor Aunt Nell was now fully aware of how she had besmirched Dick's good name, and succumbing to tears she sought her bag and searched for a handkerchief and sobbed, "Children, today I must confess I have learned there is a kind of failure that's the best success."